Hello guys. Today we're in Unit 4 again, Lesson 2. So we're building off of yesterday's, or technically 2 days ago, the lesson over rate of change. But now we're actually talking about slope. But these things are literally the same thing. Rate of change is just the word problem form of slope. So slope has a formula, but rate of change is literally slope in just like a different way of thinking. So slope is just like what rate of change was. It's change in y on top, which is your vertical change over your change in x, so your horizontal change. In other words, these are the, remember this, rise over run. So you always look at how far up and down do I go, and then how far, little arrows, how far over did I go, okay? And then just knowing that up is positive, down is negative, right is positive, left is negative, okay? So I'm going to give you the formula, and we'll just kind of go from there. So, finding the slope between 2 points. If I have these are just 2 different points. My formula is y2 minus y1, because it's the change in it, so it's subtraction, over x2 minus x1. And this is equal to m. M means slope. Okay, so from now on, anytime you see m, it's slope. Alright? You could also write it as this. You could do y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. In other words, okay, it does not matter which point you start with. So here I started with the 2, so I started with this point, and I did y2 minus y1 and x2 minus x1, but I could also go the other way. I could do y1 minus y2 and x1 minus x2, but you have to be consistent, okay? So what that means, let's see if I don't even know if I can spell this word right. What that means is you cannot do y1 minus y2. You can't do this. y1 minus y2. And then switch it for the x's. And then go x2 minus x1. You cannot do that. Okay? So you just have to stay consistent. If you go that way, you have to go that way for both. If you go the other way, you have to go that way for both. Okay? Just stay consistent. So we'll just do a couple of examples through 2 points. I'm going to write the formula over here. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so now for those of you who are very formula based, you can label your points. I'm going to call this x1 and y1. And I'm going to call this x2 and y2. But as you start getting faster at this, you don't have to label your points. So I'm going to go m equals. And then here's how I kind of do it with arrows. If I'm doing y2 minus y1, I'm going to draw arrows 8 and 5, going that way. So 8 minus 5 over. Now you just have to go the same way with the x's. So you have to start over here with 9 and 3. So 9 minus 3. So that's a way to kind of keep yourself making sure that you're staying consistent with how you do it. So then just keep on going. 8 minus 5 is 3. Over 9 minus 3 is 6. And then just, you'll have to reduce. So I'm going to write that word so you do not forget. So 3 over 6 becomes 1/2. There's my slope. Okay? So let's try this one. I'm going to go the other direction just to show you that it does work both ways. So I'm going to go m equals, and I'm going to do y2 or y1 minus y2 this time. I'm just going to go this way. So I'm going to go 2 minus negative 8. Some people will drop the negative. Since negative 8 is negative, you have to keep that negative as along with the minus from the formula. And then go the exact same direction with your x's. So I'm going to go negative 3 minus 1. And then just, you can use a calculator, or you can use your idea of subtracting negatives. So 2 minus negative 8 would actually become 10 over, and then negative 3 minus 1 would become negative 4. okay? And then what do? I'm going to write the word again. We reduce. So you can divide both by 2, so it'd be 5 over negative 2. But of course, like, you can have the negative on, you can just put it out in front. But there's my slope, okay? I want you to try this last one. Hopefully you paused, and this is what I get when I did y's and x's, did the formula, but it reduces to 2 over 1, and you could just say that the slope is 2. Okay? Moving right along now is just now that we have a table. Okay, so we did 2 points. Now we're going to do a table. Doing it from a table is no different. Okay? The difference is we're given this is a point, that's a point, that's a point, that's a point. Okay, so you have 4 points here. But how many points do you need to find slope? You only need 2. So you can pick any 2 of these to find out what your slope is. I like to work with positive numbers. So I'm personally going to pick this one and this one to do my slope formula because those are positives. Okay? But again, it doesn't matter. If you picked this one and this one, you would get the same thing. Okay? So I'm going to write these as ordered pairs just so I can see them like I have been. And then 3, 6 are my ordered pairs. Now use your slope formula, okay? So m equals, I subtract my y's, so I'm going to do 12 minus 6. Just make sure I go in the same direction. Since I went this way down, I got to go that way down. And then 0 minus 3, okay? And then just kind of keep on going. That'd be 6 over negative 3, but keep reducing. Negative 2 over 1. Okay, that's just showing that the negative can really be anywhere. Just make sure that you do have it. So you can say that the slope is just negative 2. Okay, I want you to try this one. Pick any 2 points and go from there. This is what you should get. And notice we get right here, you don't actually have to reduce anything. So m is 4/3. Okay. All right, moving on to finding slope from a graph, okay? So here you can do it a couple different ways, okay? You can really focus in on the idea of rise over run, which a lot of people like because you just basically count rise and run and then make it a fraction. Or you can pick out 2 points and do the formula, okay? So let me scroll a little bit, see if I'm missing. Need to get something in view. Get it right there. Okay, so I'm going to look at here. I'm going to show you the rise over run version first, okay? And then we'll talk about doing it with 2 points, just like what we have been doing. So rise over run. First of all, in this first graph, as you go left to right like you're reading, the line goes downhill, okay? Because it is like going down as you read like you would a book. So the slope has to be negative. Okay, so this is really getting into, this is a key concept, especially going into like the next unit and the next semester. Okay, that is a negative slope, a negative line. So you should know when you get your rise over run or your slope, you should have a negative number for your slope. So I'm going to show you how you do rise over run. So I'm always going to focus, here's 1 point. And then there's another one right here. And I'm just going to see, okay, I'm focusing on rise first because that's the first part of my slope formula, rise over run. Okay, so just write it here again. So my rise, I'm going to start here and I'm going to see how do I get down to where this point is. Just going rise. So I draw this like perpendicular line right here, straight up and down line. And how far did I go down? I went down 2 to get to where this point lays. Okay, so my rise is negative 2 because I went down 2. Okay, now what about run? Okay, my run is then how do I get over to this point? I went down 2 and then I went over 1, 2, 3. Since I went to the right, that is a positive 3. So the negative for the slope comes with the rise because I went down. Okay. So if I went left, that would be another negative, but I went right, so it's just one of the negatives and it's with the 2. Okay, so there's my slope, and I didn't even have to do the formula. Negative 2/3. Alright, so let's just practice that again with graph 2, and then I'll show you that you could do the formula as well. In graph 2, as you go left to right, just like what we did before, the line goes uphill. So this slope is going to be positive. So that is a positive line, okay? Doesn't matter what point you pick to do rise over run, no. So I'm going to just write it here, rise over run equals, let's do my rise, let's make my points a little bit bigger. My rise, how do I get up to the next point? I went up 2, okay? That's a positive 2, going up is positive. And then I went to the right 1, and that's a positive 1 since I went right. So my slope is 2/1, which is just 2. Okay? Now here I'm just going to show you that, first of all, it'll work with the 2 other points you're given, but if you write these as ordered pairs, this point right here is 0, 1, and this point right here is 1, 3. If I'm talking about these 2 now, these second 2. Okay? You could do the formula with that. You could do 3 minus 1. You could do 3 minus 1 over 1 minus 0, and look what you get. You get the exact same. Okay? So that's just showing you. You can either pick your ordered pairs and do the formula, or you can just count it out and do rise over run. Alright? And just moving on to our last concept here, which is a big concept, huge concept right here. Okay? Vertical, or this is a horizontal and vertical lines. Okay? This is just something you do have to remember. Okay? And this is how I kind of think about it. If I'm a person and I'm walking along this path, what is my incline? Okay, am I going down at all? Is my slope negative? Or is my slope positive? Am I going uphill a little bit? Neither. My person is walking straight. It's a flat line. Okay, so this slope, and always for a horizontal line, is 0. You're not going positive, you're not going negative. Okay, now same thing here. What if a person was walking right here? You can't walk this. You would literally be falling off a cliff. Okay? So this is your M is undefined. Alright? So your horizontal line has a slope of 0 because you can walk this. It's not undefined, but you're not going up or down, so it's 0. Here, a person could not walk this line, so it's undefined. Okay? Cool? We will see these again. So just remember that slope of these lines, horizontal line 0, vertical lines undefined. Alright? But we'll pick back up on Tuesday when we actually start graphing and writing equations. But do the Canvas quiz. Email me, of course, if you have any questions. And keep up the good work, guys.